Alright, let's now move on to our next step, which is about the installation of WordPress. Previously, we have learned how to install XAMPP, but it won't be useful to have XAMPP if we haven't even downloaded WordPress. XAMPP is also used by coders for other purposes, but since our focus is on WordPress, we won't talk much about XAMPP, but we will rather focus on WordPress. Okay, so let's install it. I'll write wordpress.org. Make sure you write org here. I'll start the installation process and will tell you soon why I've used org here. Okay, so I'll go here and select Get WordPress. The current version is 6.0, so this is a 25 megabyte file. Now, while this is downloading, I'll tell you the difference between org and com. Now if I write wordpress.com, a new website will open, so you can see how it looks like. So you may be wondering what's the difference? Org is if you want to use WordPress as a software, whereas .com is more like using WordPress as both software and a browser. In other words, the key difference between WordPress.com and WordPress.org is who's actually hosting your website. With WordPress.org, you host your own site. On the other hand, with WordPress.com, it's WordPress.com that takes care of all of this for you. So, if I click on Get Started, I can automatically run my WordPress website here, meaning that I do not have to install XAMPP or purchase a domain and hosting, because I'll be able to buy it from here. I'll scroll down, so this is the pricing plan. You can see the things that are offered in the starter and pro plan. If we purchase that $5 plan, we won't get access to plugins and premium support, and we would have to purchase the themes as well. So, it's better to purchase the $15 plan, as this is offering all the necessary functionalities you need, like 50 gigabytes of storage and unlimited plugins. So, it's super useful to have the WordPress Pro plan, right? Now, the only issue is that when we purchase the WordPress starter plan, there are some ads that are promoted by WordPress, and this can actually be quite annoying. So, the purpose of telling you all of this is simply to show you why we are gonna use WordPress.org and not WordPress.com. Some websites provide free domain and hosting at the beginner level. This will allow you to start your online journey without any cost and get a free domain name. However, there are many limitations to this. You could face some hidden fees and ads, for example. For us, since we're going to keep everything simple and free of charge, we'll be working on the local host. What is local host? Local host refers to the local computer that a program is running on. When you opt for a local host, you actually have the server on your computer. Since we're just learning how to build websites, we don't need to publish things online, and it's totally fine to use a local host. So, yeah, we are using .org because we won't purchase anything as we are still in the learning phase. We're basically sticking to free tools for now. We'll also use free plugins, free templates, and themes. One of the inconveniences about the .com version is that we have some ads displayed here, as you can see. This is not optimal in terms of user experience. Okay, so I'll write here joe.wordpress.com, and as you can see, this domain doesn't exist. If I write john.wordpress.com, you can see that someone has created a blog with this domain, and this is how it looks like. Here you can see the domain name inside, which we have wordpress.com. Now, if you want to remove the wordpress.com from your domain name, you will have to purchase the premium plan. Okay, so for now, we'll just use the .org version since we're not going to purchase anything. So, this has been downloaded. I'll extract it from here. So the file is loading, then I'll tell you about the next step. Okay, so next, I'll copy this. If you want to cut it, you can do it as well. It's up to you. Alright, next I'll go to the C folder and I open the XAMPP folder. This folder will be visible to you as soon as you install XAMPP. After that, you have to open the HD docs file and paste the WordPress folder. Alright, so now it is pasting. The HT docs will contain all our websites. If you want to customize any other file, you might face some errors since this procedure is a little tricky. It's better to always use HT docs. Okay, so the WordPress folder has been pasted. After that, we'll head on to Chrome and we'll create our database. But before that, let me remind you that if you don't activate the XAMPP software, you won't be able to make the database. It's better to always use htdocs. Okay, so now I'll search for the local host here. You can see these are some of the Google searches. If I want to open phpMyAdmin, I will have to allow these two modules. If you are using this for the first time, you will be required to launch Apache and MySol from the XAMPP server. So I'll copy this and paste it here. You can see that phpMyAdmin has just opened in front of us. Then you have to go to the database to open phpMyAdmin. You can see an error has arisen. If I show you the folder here, this is WordPress 6.0 and there's another WordPress folder in it. This is all the content we need, but we can't access it if we don't follow the correct path. We can either cut the WordPress 6.0 folder and directly put the WordPress folder inside htdocs. Or we can instead simply change the name here in the browser. This is basically what I'll do. I'll just write here in the browser -6.0 and as you can see, now it's working perfectly. Here is the parent directory. I'll click on WordPress and you can see that this language setup page has popped up in front of us. Alright, so I'll pick English, United States. I click on continue. Here are the details. Click on let's go. Now I'll change the username to root. Keep the password section blank and click on submit. Now our installation process will start. After that, I'll change the username and password to admin and I'll write MetaBrains as a site title. You need to make sure that your password and username are different from each other. You also need to create a strong password. I am just using it as a practice for now, so I'm not really following any of the guidelines. I'll write my username here. Be careful and don't tick this checkbox, otherwise your website will not rank on Google and other search engines. Now I'll click on Install WordPress. I click on Login. I'll then click on Remember Me. And I have finally been taken to my WordPress interface. Congrats! We're now done with the installation process. That was the entire installation process. It was quite easy. Don't you think so? Then I click on Login. Don't panic about the tools and stuff. We'll talk about it each and every one of them in detail. So basically, as you can see, we have the appearance, plugins, users, and so on and so forth. To be honest, the interface is extremely user-friendly, and anyone interested in building a website could easily understand it and manipulate it. Alright, so if you haven't installed WordPress yet, what are you waiting for? Make sure to follow all the steps we previously covered and install WordPress on your machine. Let's build amazing websites together.